Good morning. Get out this light. Good morning, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Miss Ruby. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So sorry for being so late. I usually like to start the videos at 9 a.m. Y'all, if y'all can't tell right now, my hair is freshly washed. I have a lot going on today. I'm going out of town in a couple days, and I just needed to get things done. So I'm sorry for being late. But as you guys can see by the title of this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to find your boo thing, your hubby. What's up? Say what up if you here. Say what up. So I was inspired to do this video because I just got through watching some stuff on Facebook, and I came across a video that said this statement, and it resonated with me so much. He said, "Stop marrying for preference and start marrying for purpose." And it reminded me, what up, Larry? What up, Adwa? Did I say your name right? I'm sorry. But hello to everyone who's here with me live. Yeah, so he said, stop marrying for preference and start marrying for purpose. And it really resonated with me because that sounds like something that I tell my friends all the time, people that I know all the time. And it made me want to talk to you guys about that. About, hey, Cece, just about what do you guys think about finding the right person, finding your husband or your wife, if I have some fellas here on with me. What do you guys think? Let me tell you guys what I think. And thank you, Larry. I'm glad that you love my videos, especially because they're not nearly as good as they're going to be. I'm like working on some ideas, you guys. Right now, I'm just kind of just throwing things against the wall, seeing what sticks. But I'm glad you guys are liking it so far. So ask me some questions right now during this live about anything that you guys, any advice that you think that you need in terms of finding the right person. Now, I am not ain't nobody an expert, okay, first of all, on marriage, relationships, love. I don't care what anybody says, okay? We all go through ups and downs, and we're all constantly learning. But what I can say is that I've learned a lot in my lifetime about love, relationships, marriage. So far, I have been married for 3 years, almost 3.5 years. Good afternoon, Clover. Hey, welcome, welcome from the East Coast. Everybody from the East Coast, welcome. So, stop marrying for preference and start marrying for purpose. Watching from Qatar. Wow, this is super advice. Okay, all right, loving this super advice. Awesome, Julie. Welcome, welcome. Glad you could tune in from so far. What that statement means to me is exactly what it says. But let me tell you guys how I actually really did apply that in my own marriage. So my husband and I met years ago. Woo! How long ago was that? 2010 on MySpace. For those of you guys who don't know, I met him on MySpace. Now, at that time, I had just started my YouTube channel, this channel that you're on right now. I had started it at the end of 2009, and I was making videos about, like, I was breaking down lyrics and music. So I was making videos about just music-based videos. My husband is a rapper, or was a rapper then, and he had stumbled across, he was on somebody else's MySpace page, I guess a mutual friend of ours. He saw my profile pic, he thought it was cute, and he was like, who is this? So he clicked on my page, and then he saw the videos that I was doing, breaking down lyrics and popular music, hip-hop, you know, talking about bars and rap and all that stuff, and he was like, okay, that's kind of dope, you know, like a cute girl who also knows her stuff when it comes to music. So he inboxed me. Now, at the time, I'm like, I don't really like, I used to hate when dudes would inbox me online because I was like, I'm not ever dating anybody off the internet, period. This was in 2009. I know nowadays it's a lot different, or this 2010, I'm sorry. I know nowadays it's a lot different. We all date online, but back then I was like, no, I'm not doing it. So when dudes would hit me up in my inbox, I'm just like, nah, whatever. But he hit me up, and he wasn't like trying to get at me. He was just trying to talk to me about music related stuff. And so I had no real reason to like deny him or like be mean to him. So we just talked. We had like honest, open conversations. Happy birthday, Larry. And you know, one thing led to another. I won't go all in detail, but what I will say is that getting to know him online, he wasn't my preference. Okay. I looked at his like profile pic. I looked at his pictures. He was cute, like he was a nice looking guy, but he just wasn't like, based on the stuff that I saw, it didn't really seem like he was like, he had the lifestyle that I was interested in or whatever. He didn't seem like that interesting, but his conversations and our chats were like very interesting. So what I found is that I was going through a real big transition in my life on a personal, spiritual level, and I had prayed to God that he would give me eyes for the right guy. I literally was praying this because I tended to be attracted to the wrong types of dudes, you know, bad guys, whatever, dudes that would speak to all of my insecurities, like the speaker in the video that I just referenced. And by the way, I'm going to actually tag that video in the description of this video. So if you come back, you should watch it. Anyway, so I had prayed to God, asking him to like line my preferences up, like, you know, give me eyes for the person that he had for me and send me somebody with certain types of qualities, right? And so I noticed that getting to know my husband then, I had no idea it was going to be my husband. He was just some guy on the internet, but I did notice that he had a lot of really good qualities. He seemed like a decent guy, very respectful. He wasn't trying to get at me over the internet. He wasn't trying to disrespect me, push me, coerce me, or talk me into something that I didn't really want. And so I had no reason not to be his friend. Friendship ended up leading to courtship, ended up leading to dating, and, you know, the rest is history. But along the way, I noticed a few moments, still to this day, honestly, sometimes, that I'm just like, you're not really my type. But I'm so glad that I didn't get with him because of my preferences at the time. Rather, I looked ahead. I thought, what is it that I'm trying to do in this life? What type of woman am I really trying to be? I know that I want to be solid. I want to have a solid foundation. You know, I want somebody who's going to love me, respect me, care for me and my family, take care of us, you know, somebody who I can trust, somebody who I ain't got to worry about running the streets, being in the club all the time, somebody who I don't even have to ask to change who he is in order to accommodate me, somebody who just genuinely is just like down for me and I'm down for them, who I can actually have fun with, you know, but is also intelligent, you know, studies, whatever it is that he's into, he cares about, you know, being progressive in life. And at the time, my husband, well, he, you know, the dude that I was talking to, at the time, he didn't have a job, y'all. He had just got fired from his job. So it was like, it was very conflicting in my mind because I'm like, I'm also not trying to give him no deadbeat at all, ever, period. That's like my pet peeve, okay? But I feel like it was a moment. Oh, hey, thank you for subscribing, Larry. I feel like it was a moment for me to have to learn how to humble myself and see past the physical traits of somebody and see past the current situation someone is in and really see into the future. God gave me the opportunity to see deeper. And not to say, because I think sometimes women, especially, we settle for men. It's a mess in my bathroom, y'all, because I just got through doing my hair, so please don't judge me. Sometimes I think women, we settle for men that we think that, you know, we marry for potential or we date for potential, right? That's a little different than what I'm talking about. You know, he's showing you all of the wrong things, but you're hoping he's going to change just because you want the best for him. That's different. In my husband's situation, it was he had got fired from his job, but he had been at that job for like 4 years. He was in transition into a new job. He was taking a break on purpose because he just wanted to enjoy himself for a little bit and then get back on his grind. So basically, he wasn't somebody who didn't work. He was just somebody who currently wasn't working. He had goals, he had dreams, and he didn't just have goals and dreams, you know, to be a hip-hop star. He was actually working on them. He was in the studio all the time. He was paying for, you know, his studio time. He was paying his bills. You know, he had a body of work to show for it. He was actually good at his craft, and I'm a very harsh critic when it comes to music, and I actually thought he was really good at his craft. So it was like I could see his potential based on what he showed me, not based on my own hopes and fantasies, you know? And so for me, rather, I feel like it was a moment where God was showing me, you know, I have something for you, but I need you to see beyond what you just see today, and I need you to see this man's heart. And I got to know him genuinely as a person, detached from what he could do for me at the moment, because he wasn't my husband at the moment. You know, he was just some guy I was getting to know. And honestly, every aspect of his character, from like our first night together and the way he woke up early in the morning to go and buy me breakfast and make sure that I was comfortable and make sure that I was safe. It's not like he just woke up the next day and expected me to do something for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, all the way down to how he would just come up to my job to spend 10 minutes with me on my break. And that was it. You know, and this was before we were even dating, as far as like coming up to my job. This is when I was just still getting to know him. You know, just to walk around the store with me, because I worked at a grocery store, and just get to know me. Talk to me for hours and hours on the phone, talk to me for hours and hours on the internet, and take a genuine interest in me before I had any type of intimate relationship with him. He took a genuine interest in me for about a year before I ever had any type of intimate relationship with him. It was those things that really showed me. And so I realized that so much about him lined up with my purpose in life, who God was calling me to be at that time. You know, God was calling me out of being this scared and confused and mixed up little girl with a whole bunch of insecurities into being a woman with strength and with honor and certainty about my future, and certainty meaning rather than letting someone else dictate my future, me taking the reins and me deciding, like, you know what, I am going to be a good girl. I am going to be, you know, a woman of my word. I don't know. I am going to be a girl who doesn't go to the club all the time, and that doesn't make me boring. You know, I am going to be whoever it was I was trying to be at the time. I felt like my husband truly did line up with my purpose. And even throughout our relationships, we had ups and downs, and I practically broke up with him right before he proposed to me. But it was moments like that that happened over and over and over in our relationship, still kind of happen today, where God reaffirms to me that it's a greater calling on my marriage than just my preferences, than just, does he make me feel good right now? Does he look good today? It's about who this person is and how they line up and how I fit into their purpose and they fit into my purpose. And so I wanted to ask you guys what you guys think about that. He is God's preference for you, not your preference. Good. That's a good way to say it, Clover. God does have preferences for us, right? You know, he created this world, everything in it. He had intentions for us. We go against his intentions a lot, but he does have preferences for us. It's written all throughout his word. I'm getting married next year. Indeed, purpose wins. Awesome. Congratulations, Julie. Absolutely. Yep. Purpose wins. And so that really resonated with me. By the way, I'm just going to throw this little thing in. If y'all have any questions about dating advice, okay, and ask me if you do, because I be having all types of opinions when it comes to dating and marriage and stuff. Somebody on Facebook, one of my friends on Facebook asked yesterday, is $100 a good price for a date? A good amount of money to take for a date? What y'all think about that? What I think about that is, and I haven't even responded to his message yet, or his post yet, but what I think about that is, when my husband and I did our first date, I would say, I don't know if you'd call this a date, but it was coffee at Starbucks. It was our first time intentionally meeting up together just to sit down with one another and talk. Happy birthday, Larry. So I consider that like a date. That was coffee. I probably paid for my own coffee. I don't even know. Like, we just met up at Starbucks. I think the second time we officially went out somewhere, you know, it was the movies. By the way, we spent a great deal of time getting to know one another, though. So I had already gotten to know him. I was comfortable enough with him to go and sit in a dark theater with him, right? But maybe if you're still getting to know somebody, you know, maybe being out in the open somewhere is better. But basically, to answer that, I don't really think that it's necessary to go spend a whole bunch of money on a first date for somebody who you don't even know, especially if you're still getting to know them. At least if it's someone like, I've been getting to know you online for a while, or text message, you know, whatever it is, like I kind of have a feel for you, and I know your preferences, and I really want to treat you to like a special steak dinner, so I'm going to spend some money on you. That's different. But I just don't think that there should be a financial benchmark to hit when it comes to a date. I think you should just go based off who this person is, what it is that you really want to do. I want to talk to you, or I want to go have fun with you. I want to eat with you, and then just judge based on what can I afford and how can I be the most creative with what I can afford. I just wanted to throw that out there in case you guys are interested in knowing my take on that type of question, because I see that type of question asked around the internet. Anyway, to wrap this video up, stop marrying for your preferences. Start marrying for your purpose. I honestly believe that's going to help so many people if you really think about that. And what it made me do was, like I said, humble myself, ask myself what I really want, not just today, but down the line. Ask myself, you know, and obviously it's okay to be physically attracted to that person. You should be. I was physically attracted to him, just not a crazy amount of physical attraction. Like, he wasn't like the finest dude I had ever seen in life. You know what I'm saying? He didn't make me tingle inside when I saw his face or something. Like, he didn't look like a model to me, but he was a nice looking guy, you know? And I actually, the more I grew to know him, appreciate him, respect him, and love him, he became bomb to me, y'all. Like, I look at my husband now and I think like he is the sexiest chocolate dude like ever. Like, That's real, you know, and it's crazy how God will give you eyes for what it is that he has for you because he knows what's best. It's the same thing with eating healthy. A lot of times eating healthy is not very appetizing to our palate, but that's because we have to adjust our palate. We've destroyed our palates with this horrible processed food, so it's hard for us to appreciate the delicious sweetness of a strawberry because we're used to strawberry flavored candy that is full of sugar. And I think it's the same thing with meeting your mate in life. You're used to all of the antics and the extraness, and you're used to the flashiness and the show and the cologne and the name brand clothes and I don't know, like the little way that he smirks at you and he looks at you and the way he makes you feel when he like roughs you up, or all of the extra stuff that is just not necessary for someone to love you and someone to be committed to you. And when you peel back those layers and you start to see who somebody is on the inside, what somebody does when you're in a crisis, what somebody does when you really need to depend on them, what their true colors are, and you start to see that, and you stop expecting all of the extra stuff, like in terms of men, like the breast implants and the butt lifts and, you know, the perfect bodies and the perfect hair and the girl who always looks like she got her ish together, but when you really have a conversation with her, she doesn't really even know much. Like, she doesn't know even how to think for herself. She doesn't know how to discern, how to work critically through a crisis, or she doesn't know how to cook a good meal, or I don't know, like whatever it is that your preferences are for that day-to-day thing, like the things that you're gonna have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. She can't even talk to you with decency and respect, you know, because she's so caught up in just being like, you know, I don't know, just, you know, what it is I'm trying to say. You have to really ask yourself, is this somebody who I can spend the rest of my life with, or somebody who I just want to spend the night with? They're two different types of people oftentimes. And so when you really start asking yourself what your purpose is versus just what your preferences are, you may end up with a whole different list of people that you're willing to date, and definitely who you're willing to marry. So that's the end of my little rant about that. Let's read some comments. Falling in love with someone that you don't have to change a lot of their attitude or character, it's a blessing. It is a blessing. I'm aware I have an emotional connection with a man that I know won't commit. How do I break away, Brandy says. How? That's a great question, Brandy. Oftentimes when I ask myself questions like that, I answer very quickly. How is to just do it. Why is for what you just stated. But what you're actually going to do to bring about the how, I don't know you personally, but I would say that you need to really evaluate like your strengths and weaknesses in these types of situations. And you need to like get, you know, like I would say just break up with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you have an emotional connection with the man. So I don't even know if you're in a committed relationship. Oh, you know that he won't commit. So how do you break away? Okay, focus more on what you should do, why you should do it, and not on how you feel. If you focus on how you feel, that's like the hardest thing. That's what the devil wants you to do. I'm always talking about God and the devil. The devil wants you to focus on how you feel today because he knows that he's got the blinders on you. He knows it's going to blind you. Focus on what you should do. Call on God. Read your word. Say a prayer. Find out what type of man that God deems appropriate for you. Go, you know, and you know in your heart what it is that you really want. You want somebody to commit to you, and you know that you're not going to be able to force him to commit to you. Well, what I would say to inspire you, hopefully, is that it's very rare that you can force a man to do anything, but it's very beautiful when a man does it himself. And honestly, down the line, no matter how much you feel for this guy, down the line, if he doesn't commit to you, he's going to hurt you far worse down the line than it's going to hurt you today to just let go of those feelings. Now, the feelings will change with action. I talked about that in a previous video. If you take an action toward your truth and toward your purpose and toward respecting yourself, take action like maybe stop calling him as much, or maybe don't allow him to take advantage of you. I don't know really what your situation is, but take action on those things that you can control. And then the thing you can't control, which is your feelings, will begin to change with time and with those outcomes. You know what I'm saying? Because oftentimes, like I remember I had strong feelings, you know, for someone who I knew I couldn't be in a relationship with. And I had to stop talking to him as much on the phone. I stopped, try to find other things to think about throughout my day instead of being sprung on him. And then eventually his true colors showed clearer and clearer. And because I wasn't as attached to him, my feelings weren't as strong for him. And it was easier for me to just break away. So I always just recommend that you focus on what you should do because of what your values are as a woman. Do those things. And then if the man shapes up and turns around and realizes like, yo, she's not calling me as much. She's not being as naive when I try to work her or, you know what I'm saying, play the mind games. I need to straighten up. I need to get my stuff together or else I'm going to lose this girl. That may happen. And if that happens, then you'll both win. But a lot of times with dudes that ain't about nothing, they fall off. When you start making it a little harder on them, or let's not even say you're trying to work him. Let's say you're just trying to take care of yourself. But that means that you can't call him as much, talk to him as much, be as weak to him because you're getting embarrassed or because you're getting played or you're hurt or whatever, because you want more. Oftentimes when you start setting the bar higher, if they ain't about nothing, then they just give up. And when they give up, trust me, it becomes distasteful to you. You start to look and be like, that's not even attractive. And your actual interest begins to weaken and your feelings begin to change. So I hope that answered your question. That's what I would recommend. Brandy Jones, due to self-respect, don't hold so much on someone who can't commit to you to make you happy. Okay, you guys are giving each other advice. You don't give any time to men who don't fit the criteria. Hi, Mama. Mama, I'm finna go. As a matter of fact, Mama, you need to call me because we need to talk. Brandy, it really hits hard, hurts to hear. You're so on point, though. Thank you. You're welcome, Brandy. I'm definitely going to keep you in my prayers today. Thank you for asking your question and being vulnerable and being willing to receive advice, girl, because we've all been there. Trust me, I understand, okay? God bless you all. Thank you for joining me on this live. I would love to talk about this again. Remember, leave comments in my videos. That means after this ends, you have to go back to the video and leave a comment. If you have something that you want to talk about on an upcoming live, I go live every weekday, sometimes on Saturdays at 9 a.m. for Morning Tea Talks, where I discuss just a variety of topics that can hopefully help us all to resolve some unsettled issues personally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, socially, relationally. I don't know. Multiple. I got skills. Don't test me. Don't stop me. We finna go. No, okay. Have a blessed day. God bless you. Thank you for subscribing. Turn on your notifications so you can be reminded when I go live. Deuces.